talking with the proper eye contact. So again, repeating once again, if you can turn on your cameras, it'd be really great for me because it's my first session ever. As I just told, I'm also nervous. It'd be great to see some faces. Hi Vikas, hi Shruti. No worries, Swati, no worries.
My webcam isn't working actually.
Okay, no worries, no worries. Cool. So let's start. We're gonna be let's keep this natural. Let's not have any PPTs because obviously I didn't make one. I have a few notes that I wrote down for the session, and there are a few things that I'll be covering, content and copywriting included. Let's start with my introduction first. I'm Chelsea, as you all know. I'm 23, and 2 years ago I got into marketing because it kind of interested me. I started from blogging and then moved to copywriting and then did a few jobs, and then I did freelancing as well a little bit, but now I am, I left my job and I started freelancing once again. so yeah Cool. So I don't know if it was a good introduction, but yeah, let's move on. When we talk about content and copywriting, one thing that people miss out on is they just get into content and copywriting, right? They just don't think about it if it's the right fit or not. They just get into it. So first things first, it's really important to know what is wrong than to know what is right, because when you know what is wrong and you the things that you don't know, it gets easier for the things that you want to pursue and want to move forward with. So I will say, before you get into content or copywriting, if you're a beginner and you're thinking to get into freelancing and you're thinking to learn content and copywriting, think of it if you even like it, right? It's a very important question that people miss out on. I liked content. I got into content because I realized 10 years later that I was interested in writing things. I was writing since my childhood. I started with writing short notes to my mother, and I wrote letters to my friends in school, in college as well. So this is how I started writing initially. It was, I think, the first note I wrote was at, let's say, I think around when I was 7 years old. So it was after 10 to 12 years later that I figured out I loved writing, right? It was in lockdown that I realized this. So it's not about that you cannot learn a skill, but it's more about, are you even interested in it? So this is the most important question that you should ask yourself before getting into anything. It's content, copywriting, design, product, anything. This is what I had in mind. Moving on to content and copywriting, how to start with copywriting if you are new, and how to move forward with it if you are into it. Content and copywriting, there are different types of it. People just think कि copywriting is just writing shiny words, funny words, and just get done with the day. No, it's not. With content, with copywriting, there are various goals. There are various let's say there are various goals attached to it. If we talk about copywriting, it's more of sales oriented. If we talk about content, it's more about awareness oriented, right? And when we talk about copywriting, there are also different types of copywriting. Let's say there's website copywriting, there's product copywriting, there's advertising copywriting, and like there are a lot of types of copywriting that I cannot even mention here. Social media being the one, social media copywriting, website copywriting, ad copywriting. You might have heard of these. Creative copywriting is one thing which includes everything, like push notifications, or like the ads that Zomato sends us every day, every single day, right? And uh yeah it's like social media copywriting. And when we talk about content, there are different types of content. SEO, SEO content and blogs, captions, Everything else that can come into content is website content, captions, blogs, anything that you can recall of regarding content. But as I mentioned, content is more awareness oriented and copywriting is more of sales oriented. When we talk about copywriting, how to get into copywriting is one important question that everybody wants to know, everybody asks when getting into copywriting, right? So when we talk about copywriting, the first thing that I mentioned is it's important to ask, even if you are inclined towards it, if even if you are interested in it or not, right? And then you decide that which copywriter you want to be, website copywriting you want to do, or you want to become a advertising copywriter. It's important to know what you actually want to do. Let's say in advertising copywriting you mostly write ads, ad scripts, the campaigns that you see, the billboard ads you see around you. One important aspect is giving attention to detail. What is happening around you, what is actually around you that you can make an ad on, or you can write content on. There are various things around you that you miss out on, that you don't even notice that it is around you, right? Let's say I am sitting in a room and there's a bed. Have you ever wondered which brand made this, or which person made this, or maybe which kind of you know anything around you is giving attention to detail in anything around you is an important aspect of copywriting. If you don't have the attention to detail, I think copywriting might not be for you, because it's really small things that matter. It's really small details that we miss out on every day. So yeah, like this is something that I observed. And yeah, like, pardon me, I'm really nervous. So yeah, so let's start with how to start copywriting, how to become a copywriter. It's the first question that people ask me. How to start is by far the hardest thing that people say, how to start. So how to start is, first know if it's for you, and if it is for you, then move on to the next steps. What would be the next steps? Get to know the skill. That is very obvious, people keep talking about it. Start with it, start learning a skill. Start learning a skill is very obvious cliche advice, but how to actually learn it is something very tricky, right? To learn a skill, you have to go deep into it. Let's say you are starting, copywriting, you are going to become a creative copywriter. How to actually start on that? So let's say you want to become an ad copywriter, or let's say social media copywriter or creative copywriter. You see copy around you, you see Zomato ke notifications every day, you see, you use Twitter, you see copywriting there. You use Instagram, you see captions every day. You see a lot of ads around you. See, first thing to know is first thing is giving attention to detail. What is happening around you in the copywriting world or in the advertising world? What is exactly that is exactly you need to know. What is happening around you is the first step to learn something, right? Let's if you're starting in copywriting, you will observe other copywriters, what they are doing. You will observe what is happening in your surroundings, and then move on to learning it, right? And then you obviously search some resources, what is going to happen, how I'm going to learn copywriting. But you actually start with it. You actually start with writing your first spec ad is, mockups, ad mockups that don't get published by the brand itself, but it is for your own practice. We call it spec ads, or mock ads, things like that. So you start with creating your first spec ad, you start with creating your first push notification, the Zomato kinds, the Spotify kinds that you're receiving right now, and a lot of other things. So yeah, you start writing your first spec ad, you start writing your first let's say long form copy. When I talk about long form copy, it's more of a direct response copywriting. When we talk about direct response copywriting, it's more of say it's more of a copy that you know ask the reader to take an immediate action. Let's say I remember a famous ad that was for Rolls Royce, and I want to actually show it to you. Let me just share my screen. um, I hope my screen is visible. So this is the ad that I really love, and it's a great uh, it's a great example of how to become a copywriter or how to start copywriting. When you talk about getting into copywriting, you start with your surroundings, see what is happening. If let's take the example of Rolls Royce. You see a Rolls Royce, what's so great in it? You don't know it right now, but that is the next step. You research about it, you do your homework. Doing your homework and doing the research is most important aspect of copywriting, because if you cannot do the homework and you cannot research about it, you cannot create a copy that actually asks the reader to buy, right? You cannot just write shiny words and expect the reader to buy something and take the action, right? So yeah, so if you see this is written at 60 miles an hour, the loudest noise in the new Rolls Royce comes from the electric clock. So what the writer meant uh, here is, the Rolls Royce car is really quiet, that even if you are driving at 60 miles an hour, you will just hear the clock that is really far away, right? So this is what I'm talking about when I say key research and do your homework. If you didn't know about the car, if you didn't research about it, you won't know that. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. Yeah. So what I was saying is, when you talk about copywriting, this is an example. This is a perfect example. When I talk about research, the writer really did their research. It took the person 3 weeks to figure out that this goes beyond. Rolls Royce goes beyond being a car. It's really a lot of things. But the insight here was, Rolls Royce is really quiet. So he wrote like different points on how Rolls Royce is quiet, and shared really interesting data points. But like, there are really interesting points if you ever come across and read this. The loudest noise come from electric clock, reports the technical editor. So it's a really lot of interesting points. That's what I'm trying to tell here. Do your research. So yeah, let me stop sharing my screen. I think I'm really, mixing a lot of topics, but I hope you're getting the, gist of it. So yeah, like when I talk about copywriting and getting into it, you start writing your first spec ad, you start writing with your first social media post or social media copy. Even if you don't know design, just start writing on a blank canvas. Just start with a, simple text copy, on a blank canvas, or maybe with your pen or paper. Just start writing, just start doing it that you want to actually learn. So yeah, uh, then moving on to how to write, that is something interesting, how to write a spec ad. When I talk about getting into copywriting, I keep mentioning that start writing, but how to start writing, right? Let's say you are writing for Zomato. Why I keep writing, why I keep mentioning Zomato is the notifications are really interesting, and I've also myself done a project on it, which will be live in a few days maybe. So what I am going to tell you is how to start writing your first spec ad. Let's say you pick up Zomato. Pick the really, visible thing to you. Let's say, even if it's Zomato, Swiggy, or maybe any brand that is present in your houses, right? Start with it. Pick your brand. think about it, brainstorm about it, and think of it as you want to buy something. How will you persuade yourself to buy something? That's how you start writing. Let me give you an example. uh, let me start giving you more examples so that you can learn more about it. Let's say this example, I think most of people will have heard about it because already mentioned, but I will mention it again because it's really interesting. Let's say you want to write a spec ad for a brand, but you don't know which brand you should pick. Make your own brand, make your own brief, make your own, make your, you know come up with any hypothetical brand. Let's say I was buying bananas one day and I came up with, why not write spec ads for a hypothetical banana brand, right? This is how I came up with a brief. Come up with briefs yourself. Let's say there is a fruit in your home, there's a masala in your home, there's anything in your room, anything in your houses. Just pick it and make your own brief. That is how you start. And then let's say you are writing for Zomato, and then you find a relevance to it. How to make the reader buy the product, buy the food, order the food from Zomato, right? Let's say I figure out a correlation to something. Let's say Zomato. I pick another theme with Zomato. Let's say I picked songs or Bollywood. I will correlate it to something and then make a spec ad out of it, or say notification. Let's say Zomato and a Bollywood song, and then create a notification out of it. Let's say uh, there's a song. Uh, I don't remember it. So there's a song which kinda, you know, relates to the word chole, right? So that's how I can come up with an ad. Dil Diwana bole chole chole, order it now. Chole kulche ka ad bana sakte ho, ya you can make an ad for chole bhature, something like that, correlated to something. No worries, Swati. Yeah. So this is how you come up with the spec ad or any creative copy or any social media copy or any copy that you want to write or any content. Just pick anything from your surroundings, think of it, take another theme and create a copy out of it. Right? Let's do a quick practice. Let's do a quick practice. Um, Let me think of something. Uh, let me think of something really quickly. Uh, yeah, let's say a water bottle. I think I have been talking a lot, so I want to take some time for you guys to think, for you to brainstorm. Let's pick a water bottle. Let's pick a theme that is water bottle. Let's pick a brand that is water bottle. Think of a theme and wow, Bole read chole chudiya. Nice, Nirmit. So let's start with a water bottle. Your brand is water bottle. Find a theme, pick a theme, correlate to each other, and then create a push notification or any spec ad that you want. Let's start brainstorming about it, right? Let's start thinking about it. Start writing in the chat box what themes you want to pick, right? A famous meme that is, thak gaye hoge bolte bolte, jal le lijiye, something like that. So this is one meme, and this is one copy that you can say. Let's start, brainstorming about it. Let's pick a theme and, create a spec ad right now, right here, right? What would be your theme? Let's say this is a water bottle. If you can see, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's a white water bottle. I have picked a white water bottle. Let's give it an any name. I will just, brand it as Pani. Shashank said, Uncle Ji Bisleri. Wow, everybody is like, wow, great. Pani chahiye, wow. Jingur sa, oh God. आज ब्लू है पानी, नाइस. और मे बी यू कैन से आज फ्रेश है पानी. नहीं नहीं, पानी का पानी है फ्रेश, समथिंग लाइक दैट, एनीथिंग क्वर्की, एनीथिंग फन. सी, द आइडियाज कमिंग इन आर रियली ग्रेट. श्रुति का है किनली Keenly. Oh, okay, this could be a really nice, regional ad or regional push notification. You can also do it in regional or any language. You're never old to be like Ronaldo. Wow, great. Keep the ideas coming. Let me also brainstorm a little bit. This is really crazy. Let's pick another theme other than trending. There's a water bottle, Bollywood songs, Swami Pani. Okay, let's relate it to something else. Let's pick a theme other than Bollywood or trending things. What a Pani fan says. Wow, that is really nice. Someone. What a Pani fan says. Great. You can create a lot of spec ads out of the Bollywood songs because they really relate to a lot of brands. Pani Piyaka is really nice. Great, great. Keep the ideas coming. Pani Pani. There are a lot of water songs, right? Great, great, great. So if you want to create your next spec ad, what you would do is pick a brand, pick anything from your home, from your surroundings, pick a theme and correlate it and create your first spec ad or first push notification or any copy. That is how you would go with creating a spec ad or push notifications or any creative copy. Sip sip barsa pani. This is really nice, Shrishti. Like even Camel has its own water bottle when you wow, great. So yeah, so this is how you can, go on to create your own spec ads on copy. Let's come to social media copywriting. Not talking about captions. Captions you can go the similar way. You can think of something and pick a theme and then correlate to it. I think this is the easiest way that I have found to create any ad or any copy. This is nice. One plus phone ka. So yeah, proof of work. You when you create your spec ads, you can show it as a proof of work. You can show it in your portfolio that I created this really interesting spec ad. You can explain it. You can explain it in one liner that this is how I did it and this is what the idea was behind it. How to create a portfolio? Let's come to it in the next few minutes. That is really interesting question. I will also show my portfolio. Like I'll give a sneak peek. It's thoda sa confidential, but I'll try to show it. Okay. So yeah, let's come on to other copy. This is short copy like one liners, push notifications, captions, anything that is short. When we talk about social media copy for just say LinkedIn and Twitter, majorly what we do on Twitter is write threads or one liner tweets, and LinkedIn we talk about posts. How to go about that, how to write copy for LinkedIn, how to write copy for Twitter. So copy can be of various types, LinkedIn post, Twitter threads, tweets, ads, anything else, right? You whatever you see is copy, is eventually copy that you're reading it and buying it. So when how do we go with how do we start writing LinkedIn copy or Twitter threads or Twitter or tweets? How we go by that is, again, we start with something interesting. We start with something that will persuade the reader to read further. When I talk about LinkedIn posts, when I talk about LinkedIn copy, it's mostly short form or maybe a little bit long form. Let's say we write one liners to we write 150 word posts, we write 300 word post, and whatever the word limit be. It can also be 500 words, but I mostly don't prefer very long form because uh, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of effort that goes into reading it. So I would like to keep it really really short, maybe maximum of 300 words if it's a case study. And if it's a generic post, if a generic theme, I will prefer it to be 200 or 250 words max. You can write If you're a really great writer and you can create really insight driven posts, you can go up to 400 words, 500 words. If you can persuade the reader to read more, I think you can write any word limit that you want, right? When we talk about LinkedIn posts, most people are not aware of how to write a LinkedIn post. They just, write big paragraphs. They don't leave any space. They don't, use proper punctuation and stuff like that. Usual grammar stuff. So how I will start writing a LinkedIn post is, I will pick a topic. Let's say Zudio. I've also been mentioning Zudio a lot of times because it's the most trending topic as well. Also, I have written on it, so yeah, so it's a great example for me to give. So when I talk about Zudio, I will not go about talking about Zudio like very I say I will not talk about Zudio in a way that I just put everything in one post. I won't go with that. I will start breaking down the topic into more parts. Let's say I want to talk about Zudio, right? But if I talk about Zudio ka case study, it will be like any other case study that people keep talking about. So how I would go by it is, I will pick the topic. I will add my personal insights on it, and then I'll talk about it. Let's say I want to talk about Zudio. What I will break it down into few parts. Let's say what my experience has been. My experience was, the clothes are cheap, affordable, but the quality is not that great that I would like to have. So I picked another aspect, that is, the point where it is affordable but the quality is not good. This is my personal insight. And then I go on about researching about it. If other people are feeling the same, if other people find the quality not that great, then I figured out, there were a lot of complaints on the on the complaint forum. There were a lot of complaints that the quality is not up to mark, the face washes are half filled, things like that. So I kind of figured out there are a lot of complaints around it, there are a lot of quality issues around it. So I niche down to a lot of things. I cannot just go about writing, picking up a topic and writing about it like in 500 words. I cannot go about uh, writing a LinkedIn post in a way that I just put everything, I just stuff the post with every insight that I can find. No, you have to create a narrative around it. You have to build a narrative around it. Same goes with threads. You have to build a narrative around it. How would you go building a narrative around it? You pick something, you pick a topic, you niche down on other topics, you break down into parts. There's let's say if you're talking about a water brand, let's say Bisleri, you cannot just go about putting everything in one post. You cannot just put a lot of insights in just one post. You have to pick a narrative. What you will be talking about Bisleri. Let's say Bisleri, I will pick up the uh, sales part of it. Okay. Or either I can talk about how Bisleri has, penetrated the urban market and rural market. I will break it into parts and then I'll be talking about it. Social media copy, I believe, I think, is more on the brand awareness part if you see it around yourself. Also, there are social media copy that generate sales as well. That is more effective when it's paired with performance marketing, right? When you talk about ads, there are a lot of ads which will pursue you to buy. Let's say Zomato के push notifications, या Myntra के हो गए, या Nykaa के notifications हो गए, या Nykaa के emails हो गए. That all comes into copywriting. That all is included into copywriting. So yeah, I was talking about social media ka copywriting, how to write threads, how to write LinkedIn posts. You pick a narrative, you break into parts and then talk about it. Also, there's one more aspect that people miss out on, that people miss out on is figuring out what is the most interesting aspect of it. I don't care about another case study, but I would care about another insight that was really really invisible to me. let's say let's say Parleji, if you know, is making like more than 1 billion in sales every year, right? It's really invisible insight. It's making more than, you know, a few startups that are making right now. It's a really invisible insight that people miss out on. So that is what I would prefer reading, and that is what your reader wants to read, right? So think about it. What, when you start writing something now, even if it's content, even if it's copywriting, think of it as what will, you know, what will wow you, what is the most interesting thing that you would want to read about it, right? What is the next good thing that you want to read about it? Let's say I'm buying a pen, and then I, you know, come up with an idea that I will create a spec ad for a pen, right? How I start writing a really nice spec ad that gets me more sales, that persuades the, you know, audience to buy it eventually. What I will do is I will see it from my perspective first. What would be the best possible cases that I would buy this, and then come up with a spec ad. This is what most people miss out on. Again, it's a really visible invisible insight that people miss out on, is they don't see it from their reader's perspective, they don't see it from a buyer's perspective. If you are let's say if you are selling a women's multivitamin brand, you will just create, you know, you will go on creating the benefits of, you will create go on creating newsletters or, you know, social media copy around. No worries, Lisha, bye bye. So yeah, most people would go on as creating a spec ad, you know, around the benefits of multivitamin and stuff like that. But what most people miss out on is they don't, you know, see it from a woman's perspective. Why do they need a multivitamin? You start from your reader's perspective. You do your homework. Why people need it? Why people would be needing it? Why people need a pen? Why people need a woman's multivitamin? They can just, you know, live their life normally without taking it. They can just properly function without using a pen. They have their laptops, they have their iPads and stuff like that. Why would they go buy? Why would they read your copy and buy it? That's what you have to figure out. That's why I mentioned do your homework, do your research. This is the most important aspect of copywriting or content. I'm talking more about copywriting because I think I'm more into copywriting than content first. So yeah, please keep dropping any questions if you have around content or copywriting. I'll be happy to answer it. So yeah, there are a lot of things that I missed out on that I noted on my, you know, diary. So yeah, this is how I would go on creating copy for anything. I will think of it from a reader's perspective, and then I'll, you know, create something out of it. Another thing that you should not miss out on is write the way you talk. I keep repeating this phrase because it's really 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 important. You know, write the way you talk. When you're writing a LinkedIn post, when you're writing a Twitter thread, when you write a spec ad, when you write a social media copy, when you write a post, write the way you talk. Make people feel like they are having a conversation, right? It's really important aspect that people usually miss out on. They just, you know, write big paragraphs. It's not the way it should be. You should not write in a way that people cannot read. You should write in a way that you talk. You can add like specific things. Let's say you you can add your initial thoughts about it, as I do in my LinkedIn posts. What I do is, you know, if I'm writing something and then I think of it as ha, so I will literally write that phrase in my, you know, I'll literally write that word in my post. I will write the way I will talk. I will write the way I am talking to you as a person. Another interesting insight is, you know, write if it write if you are writing a letter to your audience. Not, don't think of an audience, think of it as you're writing to a specific person, to one person. Think of it as a letter you're writing to someone, and then write it, then write the spec ad, then write the social media copy. So this is how you can go by it. I'm sharing more of insights because rest of the stuff is already present on the internet, any sources you can find, but I'm trying to share more insight, share more of the insights that I have observed and would really help you. So yeah, social media, when coming to social media, yeah, it's all copy, and how to create a strategy is one another important aspect. When we talk about strategy, people keep talking about, creating a funnel, coming up with a strategy that should, match with their brand's tone and message and stuff like that. So what do we mean by strategy exactly? Strategy is some overrated word, some hyped word that we keep listening around. It's more of a structuring a profile, structuring a brand in a way that people can relate to it and buy from it. It's really that simple. Structure your brand, make your brand visible in a way that it is, it persuades your readers to buy from your brand. It's really simple. Like, if I have to create a strategy, I will know the brand, I will know the person, I will try to learn more about them. How my knowing strategy goes is, I keep asking as many questions as possible from them, and then I come to a conclusion that, yeah, this is something that we can possibly talk about, that you keep talking about, but you are not actually talking about it on social media, or as a brand. So strategy is something not very hard to figure out. It's more of how you understand that person or a brand, and then you come to a conclusion on how to present them as they are as an individual. Let's say I was talking to someone yesterday. They are a really, typical corporate guy. There's a literally corporate, like very typical corporate guy. He has nothing to share, on the personal side. How do you create a strategy around that? How do you come up with a strategy that you can, that can show results? So as I kept asking questions, as I kept, diving deep into their questions, their, profile, and then their life, I came to know that they are really interested in talking about current affairs, right? It is a really amazing insight that I got, because earlier they were just talking about business, 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 and I'm from here, so we do this, we do that. It was really, very hard to figure out what would be the strategy. So, like, strategy is defining their tone, defining their personality, even if it's a brand or an individual, defining what they could be, as like defining who they are as an individual offline, that you can present online. It is as simple as that. So yeah, you start by knowing more of the brand that you're going to work with. You start with knowing more of the person that you start with. It goes like creating a strategy, but before that, know your person, do your homework, do your research, keep asking more questions. That's how you come to a strategy, and then you decide, content buckets or content pillars or themes, or broad topics that you will be talking about from their profile or their brand. Let's say a D2C brand. Let's say let's say there's Plum. Okay, Plum is a vegan skincare company. What would be the possible strategy? The possible strategy could be to, present them as a vegan skincare brand, as a, you know friendly brand, and depicting it as a fun brand that you can eventually, think of it as a person talking to you. This is Plum. No, not like that. So yeah, it is like, figuring out their tone of voice. Let's say Plum is a skincare brand. You can be fun, you can have fun with it, you can have fun with the brand. It can be funny, it can be, maybe more professional. But if you see Plum, it's more of a friendly brand rather than just a professional brand. When you talk about B2B brands, they are more professional. D2C brands are more fun. Let's say Zomato. Zomato is both B2B, B2C, but yeah, you get my point, right? It's like figuring out a tone of voice and then coming up with a content bucket or themes. Let's say Plum is a vegan skincare brand. We can talk about skincare broadly, and we can talk about veganism. We can talk about, you know, skin. We can talk about health. So these could be the, possible broad buckets, and then we dive deep into the topics and then figure out specific ideas, and then then we proceed with creating posts out of it. So yeah, this is how we can go by creating a strategy and then moving on to posts. Yeah, so this was probably what I wanted to cover in strategy. Coming to the most important aspect, how to monetize what you are doing, how to monetize copywriting, how to make money out of what you are going to do, let's say content or copywriting. You start with learning the skill. Obviously, how you will learn that skill is by doing it actually and observing what is happening in the industry, that I already covered. And then you move on to creating proof of work. That is really important, creating a portfolio. So how you go by that is, you create spec ads, you create LinkedIn posts, you create Twitter threads, you create blogs, and then you add into you compile it into one document, or maybe use platforms like Fueler to add the links, or maybe other there are other platforms, but majorly I use Fueler, or Google Docs to send it out. Or you can use Canva if you want a more visually nice presentation kind of thing to present your to pitch your clients in the moment. So yeah, how to monetize it, you can start learning by skill, you can start it by doing, and then you eventually create a portfolio or a proof of work to show your prospects, right? So how do you create a portfolio is really really simple. Let's say you want to get into copywriting, you pick one thing that you actually want to do. Let's say you want to get into social media copy. What you can do possibly is, you can write Instagram captions, you can write Twitter threads, you can write LinkedIn posts, and you can write social media ads. You can create proof for Instagram stories. It can be Instagram series. You can create a lot of things. You can create Instagram posts. That is how you go by creating a proof of work and adding links to maybe a document or maybe platform like Fueler. So let me, give you a quick view into my portfolio. It's really really, I would say, this was my first portfolio that I'm showing to you. I will say it's not really what I want it to be, but yeah, this is how you can go by it. Let me quickly present it. I hope you can see my screen. Yeah, so I go by, there are a lot of slides, but yeah, I'll try to keep it as short as possible. So, see, how you go by it is, there's just, content if someone wants to skip. So it is really basic thing. You can just include it or remove it. Then comes a little bit introduction, and then comes, a little bit what I think about myself, what I am passionate about. You can include your vision or mission, and then comes the skills that I have. Then comes, speaking of strategy, I can add a lot of things, and a glimpse into my work. So what I've added into my work portfolio is case study of a project that I actually did and I worked on. If you do not have any case study, if you do not have any past experience, you can add spec ads, or maybe you can add statistics of your profile that you worked on your profile. Or if you don't have anything, just create samples, right? It's really really simple to create a portfolio. Just create samples. If you do not have any, start with writing a blog. Let's say you want to pitch to SaaS clients. Then you start writing with a SaaS blog. Then you start with writing a SaaS blog, and then optimizing it for keywords. You can present the specific keywords that you want to include in the blog, and then you actually write the blog. If you want to pitch to a person for LinkedIn ghostwriting services, what you would do is create samples for their profile. If you do not have any proof of work sample, if your client is asking for one, either show your past work or either show your past samples that you worked on, or maybe offer them to write a sample. Paid or not, that's your call. I usually it usually depends on the clients. If it usually depends. I usually do paid assignments or unpaid assignments depending on the clients. So yeah, you can offer them to write a sample before they even ask. So yeah, this is what you can do. Portfolio, like there's a case study. I mentioned the client, industry, role, objective, follower count, strategy, execution, then the results, and then spec ads. Then comes the spec ads. Then I included some spec ads that I created for Hamleys and KitKat, and these were all, a few of them were briefs by the Briefcase Club, if you know, on LinkedIn. They post a brief on every Monday, and usually I try to attempt them all. But yeah, this is what you can do. Figure out, either figure out the briefs yourself, or maybe you can use platforms like the Brief Club, and pick a brief and think about it and brainstorm about it, and create a portfolio, create a sample ad, or create a sample proof of work for anything. So these are mostly challenges that I picked up. There were a few that I have not shown in the portfolio because I plan to pitch them to certain agencies. So yeah, this that I have not included. So yeah, threads again. I have mentioned two threads that I wrote in the past few weeks. You can just add links to directly to the picture, and you can just click it, then you can view the thread. So yeah, you can publish it on your own profile, and then you can showcase them as a sample. Articles are on my Fueler profile. I have created a bucket. I've created a content writing bucket which only includes articles. So a lot of articles I've written on our Medium, or maybe someplace else as well. So yeah, I've added an article link here, and then stuff that went viral. There added a few links that went viral because most clients are focused on the results. So you have to showcase that you did a great job at it, what you did. You cannot obviously add it in your portfolio when when you don't have any work experience, but you can start with your own profile, that I would suggest. If you are a content writer or a copywriter, you should definitely start writing on your own profiles, or Medium, or stuff like that, so that you can actually showcase the results that you had. This is really important for us. This are some posts written by me and directed by me, and the few that went viral that I mentioned just because of numbers. So yeah, my LinkedIn, I added my post as well. You can do it as well. You can write and publish, and then maybe track a week's. You can track a week's analytics and maybe a month's analytics and showcase it in your portfolio. Brands I've worked with, words, analytics, results, and stuff like that. And then career highlights. Put it at the end, because as a creative professional, nobody cares about where you work. They care more about your portfolio. They care more about your proof of work. So yeah, put it in the end, or maybe just not include it if you want. Uh, just add a last slide. So yeah, this is like really naive portfolio, but I am trying to improve on it. So yeah, this is what I mean by portfolio. Oh, congrats. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. So one thing that you can also do is, this was a visual portfolio because I'm going to pitch more of advertising, copywriting things that can be a presentation. But you can also, if you are a beginner and you don't actually want to put that much effort, you can use Fueler as well. What you can do is create samples, post it, and put links on Fueler. Let me quickly take you through my Fueler as well. So I've added like 17 some projects. See, these are the tweets of Mintra that I've added. You can create a thumbnail. Yeah. So you can create a thumbnail, and then you can add a nice description to it. I added a headline. I added the aspects of it I added the description, that is, it was a copywriting challenge I picked up, and research I did, and tweet ideas based on the above themes and results, right? And then, this was a thumbnail that I created through Canva, basic template I picked up and added text. You can, do it like really basic stuff it is. And then I added a proof of work here, right? When you go onto the proof of work, you will find it something like that. I added a Canva link. They can get the insight by my Fueler profile description. They can get the insight by my Fueler description that I added. Key, this project was about this, and this is the research that I did. And then I added a link that actually took me to the portfolio, to the sample ads or sample tweets or anything like that. So this is what I created. uh I think, okay, kind of got lost. Let me share again. So yeah, so this is what I did here, and it's really really simple. You just have to create a Fueler profile, and then optimize it like LinkedIn or Twitter, and then you can add your links, and you can publish your work. It's really 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 simple to create a portfolio. Even if you don't want to put a little much effort into it, just compile all your links in Google Doc. Best I would say is representing it visually, because it gives more credibility to your proof of work. You can use Fueler or maybe Canva if you want to go an extra mile. So yeah, this is what I have added, a few links, maybe let's say this. You can add really cool thumbnails as well. A description that an article, there's a little description about it, objective insights and collaboration, whatever you want to add. And there's a proof of work link that takes me to Medium, where I actually posted it. It's really easy to compile all your links, kahin pe bhi hai, all over the internet. You can just put it in Fueler, and then showcase as your proof of work. You can just share it. It took me to Medium. Yeah, I kind of miss sharing the tab. So yeah, I was saying that you can really showcase your portfolio in a really simple way. You can just yeah, so you can just keep posting, and then share your portfolio, share your proof of work via Fueler. That is really easy. If you haven't observed yet, you can just register on Fueler, and then maybe schedule a call with the team, so that they can take forward the process actually. So yeah, it is really really simple these days to showcase your portfolio. You can do anything. You just have to compile your links, and send it to your send it to your prospect or client or lead, whatever. Another thing that I had to include is how to pitch clients, how to cold DM clients, and how to actually turn them into clients, how to actually turn prospects into clients. This is a really really tricky subject. There are a lot of cold DM templates you can do. You can figure out founders that you want to work with. You can figure out agencies and then cold DM them. But the most important aspect is you have to create a portfolio or a proof of work to actually pitch them. And then when they are ready to have to get on a call with you, that is where all the magic happens. That is where you have to turn them from a prospect to a client. And I think the major aspect here is how to turn a prospect into a client when they are ready to be on a call with you. You pitch your services, you give them a smooth experience, you show them your portfolio, you show them your results, and you ask them a lot of questions. You ask really deep questions that would really help their problem. So yeah, like, this is an important aspect, that how to convert prospects into leads. One most important thing you need here is obviously proof of work, and then you can move forward with all the onboarding, and discussing what is their problem, how you can help them, showcasing your results. So yeah, it all depends on your proof of work or your portfolio or samples that you can actually convert a prospect into a client. So yeah, this is what I had to share. I think I mixed up a lot of topics, but yeah, if you have any specific questions, I will be really happy to answer them. Okay, someone wrote in the box that I am not a Fueler member. I did not take the membership. It's not necessary to start with Fueler if you don't have a membership. It's like you don't need to have a membership. You can just join Fueler without having a membership, but you have to, if you want extra benefits that Prantik or someone else from the team would tell you, then you can take the membership. Otherwise, it's not really necessary to take the membership to join Fueler. Any other questions? Can I know some insights? What was discussed? Mintra tweets were witty. Oh, thank you. Okay. There was a question, I guess, how to create a portfolio. I hope I answered this, Devanshi, if you are still in the call. If you have any other questions around portfolio. Does anyone have any questions? Do you have any questions, folks? Any best platform to find clients? Really great question. What was your question, Srishti? Can you just drop it into the chat box again? So Nagendra just asked, what is the best platform to find clients? See, you can use literally anything on the internet to find clients, be it LinkedIn, be it Twitter. I had my clients from LinkedIn personally, a lot of clients from LinkedIn, a few from Twitter. You can also find clients through referrals and stuff like that. But I would suggest is, I've been thinking of renaming taglines. Okay. So when we talk about how to find clients, how to where to find clients, you can start with maybe LinkedIn. You can search your prefer. Let's take an example. It would be easy for you to understand. Let's say you want to pitch an idea to a brand, to a to a D2C brand. Let's say it's a pet brand, a dog food or maybe dog accessories brand, and you have some really crazy things to do with that D2C brand. Let's say any D2C brand you're interested in. Maybe let's say you are interested in the D2C industry, or you are interested in the B2B industry, or you are interested in advertising. So how you will find clients is, you can just figure out it on LinkedIn. You can just type it in the search box, D2C found, not D2C. You can write in the search box that founder, of, something. You can do it on LinkedIn. I think I have to. Okay. I think I have to find resources for finding the clients on LinkedIn. I have a few resources, but I cannot just share it right now because I don't recall them. So, how you can find clients and where you can find clients is, you can find it anywhere on social media, or on internet, anywhere. You just have to figure out which clients you want to work with. Let's say you just want to work with D2C brands only. You will figure out, key, let's say I want to work with a pet brand. You will search founders, and you can go through, you can search on the internet that D2C brands. You can search on the internet that this brand, maybe B2B brand, or let's say you want to work with uh, see, when we talk about finding clients, it's about figuring out who you want to work with first. So you figure out which clients you want to work with. Let's say I want to just work with D2C founders. I will figure out their profiles, I will figure out the brands, I will figure out their emails somewhere. There are a lot of tools. You can figure out their emails, or you can just find them on somewhere on LinkedIn or Instagram or Twitter. So yeah, figure out on LinkedIn, and you can cold DM them with your proof of work, and you can just ask them that I want to work with you and stuff like that. But make sure that you personalize the cold DMs. So I hope we answered your question. You can find clients anywhere on the internet. You just have to figure out which ones you want to work with. Then you go on LinkedIn, or maybe Google their names, or Google the brands. Then figure out the people that you should connect with. Then figure out their emails and maybe cold email them, or maybe find their LinkedIn profiles and then pitch them. I hope I answered your question. Rajita asked, I have been thinking of renaming taglines POV wise. Would it still come under copywriting? Yes, it would still come under copywriting. Uh, which taglines, by the way, if you can share, like what kind of taglines you are thinking of renaming? You are there. See, any kind of wordplay comes under creative copywriting. Even if you are renaming taglines for any newsletter or any uh, LinkedIn profile, let's say headlines of a LinkedIn profile, you are playing with that, and you are coming up with new headlines for them. It all comes under creative copywriting. Wordplay is the major thing that comes into creative copywriting, and whenever wherever wordplay comes in, it's under creative copywriting. Then Srishti asked, working in an agency versus working in an in-house team for a brand, is there a difference in the experiences and upskilling? um I hope I can answer that question. But I think I'm not the right person because I have not worked with a brand in house. But I think there's a lot of difference when you work with an agency and an in house team. Let's say you are working with the brand, you have all the you have the you have an in house team, and you're working on a brand. You have all kind of flexibility to work with, right? Because it's your own brand, it's your own company that you're working with, it's your own brand that you're working with. You have all the kind of flexibility and stuff like that. I don't know, like I don't really have a straightforward answer to this because I have not worked with an in-house team for a brand. Working in an agency, I can give you a little bit insight into it. Working in agency is more is like you are sometimes, like it's very funny, but you are sometimes chasing the clients to review your stuff, and you're chasing them to uh, give you ideas. You're chasing them to for them to approve your ideas or creatives and stuff like that. So I think in an agency there's more of creative freedom, because let's say it's in creative agency and you have all the freedom to experiment. But the final decision will be the clients, the final decision will be theirs, what they want to do. As an agency, as a person in an agency, you can just do what your client has asked you to, right? When you talk about an in-house brand, I think there would be more flexibility. I cannot talk about the experience or upskilling here because it's not my I have not done it. I have not been in a team that is in-house. But I think when we talk about experience and upskilling, there's more chances of you to grow in an agency model than an in-house brand. Let's say you are working in an in-house brand, you're only working on the brand itself. Let's say you are in Plum and you're only doing stuff for Plum. And when you are in an agency, you learn a lot of things. You work with a lot of brands and a lot of industries. In there are a lot of people around you with various insights, with various expertise, with various skills that they bring to the table. So it's more of you have more chances to upskill and grow in an agency than an in-house brand. Treat it as startup versus corporate. In a startup, you keep doing a lot of things and you keep growing very fast. Whereas in corporate, you just do keep doing one thing forever. So treat it as that, maybe. Yeah. I hope that answered your question. I don't really I cannot really say about the experience, but I know for sure that there's more experience, exposure, and upskilling in an agency rather than working in an in-house team for a brand. But make sure that you are a person who can take responsibility, because agencies are like really fast growing, and they really very fast in doing creative stuff and all of that. They have chased deadlines, so it's more of if you can take ownership, it's really great to be in a agency. So yeah, I was thinking to start with familiar ones of Dairy Milk, Colgate. Yeah, you can do that. As I already mentioned that any kind of wordplay, comes under creative copywriting. So yeah. Atul mentioned that I got the answer without asking the question. Oh, great. What was your question, by the way? I want to know. Do you have any other questions, guys? I know a lot of things got mixed up. I will make sure to create. I will make sure to create a PPT next time to make it more structured. But it was kind of on a short notice, so I kind of dropped everything in this meeting that I knew. So yeah. Atul said that working at an agency or in-house team. Yeah, I already answered that question, didn't I? Cool. Does anyone have any other questions? Okay, that's very good answer. Okay, got it. Cool. So if you guys have any other questions later on, you can just drop a DM on LinkedIn. I will try to reply as soon as possible. Uh, yeah, like if you have any questions, if you have any further questions, you can ask now, or maybe you can DM me on LinkedIn as well. I have a lot of insights. I cannot do it in one single call, but like I will make sure that I keep coming to sessions and I keep hosting more such of sessions, and in a structured way. This was not structured at all. I felt like it kind of got mixed up, but yeah, I will try to be more organized next time with with a more structured PPT or something like that, and cover specific things, not just keep blabbering about insights. So yeah. Oh, great. Cool. Does anyone have any other questions? Yeah, okay, I'll do that. Cool. Prantik, are you there? Cool. If anyone has any other questions, you can ask. Otherwise, we can wrap it up. Yeah. Yeah. I'm in the community. I'm in the Fueler community. I am active there, but I cannot, promise you to respond as soon as possible. But yeah, I'll try to respond whenever I can. Maybe you can also drop me on LinkedIn. I'm quite active there in terms of posting and commenting and replying there. So yeah. Okay. Bye. Bye, everyone.